Welcome everyone, I am One True Brick, coming at you with another LEGO Exo-Force review. Today we will be looking at set number 8117, the Storm Lasher. This set was released in 2008, contained 283 pieces, and retailed for around $20, which is also the price that you should be able to find it on Bricklink and eBay. It's one of the ones that hasn't really increased in price too much, which, as I go over the course of this video, you may understand why. So this set, let's just jump right into it. This set is the final iteration of the Sonic series. So there is the Sonic Phantom, which had kind of that green color scheme, the Sonic Raven, which had kind of a yellow, and it's very obvious that this one has some similarities to the Sonic Raven, not just in color, but just the flying design, kind of having this cockpit area right here, and then kind of this handle grip that you can grab onto in order to swoop it around, and then large turbines. However, it is probably the most significant departure from the series, being that the turbines are a lot bigger. And unfortunately, one of the things that I'm not a huge fan of in this set is it is a very repetitive design. Because these turbines are brick built, you will spend probably about half the build just putting together these tiny black parts with these tiny black hinge pieces with the yellow studs on the top. And unfortunately, it makes for a very boring build, in my opinion. And when you're buying Lego, I consider building to be half the fun. And it also significantly limits the ability to reuse the parts for MOCs, because it's the same part 15 billion times. Actually, more accurately, I think it's around 30 times. But yeah, unfortunately, that makes the set not quite as appealing, and I think this is one of the reasons why not as many people bought it. It also, and this is quite a statement, all of the sets for the Deep Jungle era were featured very little. They were all only in one comic, but out of all of them, this one was featured yet again the least out of all of them, being featured, I think, only in a single frame, meaning that it is not that exciting. There also wasn't really a full-on air combat battle machine to fight against it. When I go over the hybrid rescue tank, I'll show how it kind of has something to go up against it, but for the most part, there wasn't a full-on flying human battle machine to fight against it, meaning that you didn't really have a great battle experience with it. Well, now that I've complained a fair bit, let me talk about some of the things that I do like about it. I appreciate the fact that there are yellow Mantax claws included in the set. Something I forgot to mention is there are some red ones in the Chameleon Hunter, if you didn't notice. For whatever reason, they decided these parts should get some recolors, and all things considered, I think it was a good decision. I think it's good for mocking potential. Another thing that I really like is the poseability of the wings. Something that really, I think, made the Sonic Phantom and Sonic Raven a little bit boring to play with was the lack of poseability. I did talk about way back in my Sonic Phantom review that there was more than you'd expect. There is a fair bit of functionality, but the fact of the matter is the only thing you can really do with the Sonic Phantom is raise and lower the wings, kind of like this, and give it a more scooped appearance. However, the Sonic Raven has full-on ball ends, or not ball and socket joints, ratcheting joints, which can be rotated in just about any orientation. And one of my favorite things to do is to rotate them completely vertically and give it kind of this appearance, which I believe has been shown in at least one or two forms of media. And it honestly reminds me a lot of I'm forgetting the name. I'm not a huge Halo fan, but for those of you who have played it, I'm sure you'll know which vehicle I'm talking about. There you can pilot or ride on the side of them. It's kind of a smaller flying vehicle. It kind of reminds me of the appearance of that with these side swooped helicopter blades. And as you can see within the helicopter blades, there are these Viking troll swords that kind of give it its appearance. And then there is actually the ability to spin it, which is pretty nice. I do wish there was a little bit more functionality given to the set. It is nice that these have some cool posability, but both of the other iterations of the Sonic series have had some sort of missile that can be fired, whereas this one really doesn't. The only thing that I can do is kind of rotate these guns a little bit, maybe pinch its claws, but I wish there was some sort of projectile that you could fire. I know I pointed out the fact that last year there was a lot of missile usage, whereas in this wave, I don't think there is a single set that has any type of firing weapon. So I guess I kind of miss it. I wish there was at least one in this one, maybe one in the hybrid rescue tank as well, just to add a little bit of functionality. But I guess somehow LEGO knew that it was a little bit too much. There is one other piece of functionality, that being the mini robot. There is one included, and it is quite a gargantuan one, if I may say so. Most of the other ones don't really stand out that much, but when you pull this one off, it is probably about a good third the size of the rest of the vehicle, and it is kind of this giant dragonfly type thing. It has claws here. You can see the legs have kind of this barbed appearance, similar to that of the back legs of a fly, and I think that looks really cool. It also even has posable cannons on the side and fully posable wings, and I really think that adds to its appearance. Out of all of them, I really do like the one included in the Dark Panther because I think it has some great posability and actually looks kind of like a tarantula. But this one would probably be a close second in terms of appearance. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to be said about the set, either story-wise or set-wise. It's probably the most bland set out of all of the ones released in 2008. And out of all of them, this is probably the one that I'd recommend the least. One other last final thing that I would like to point out, and this is kind of bizarre to me. Anytime you've seen an Iron Drone in a set, it's always either been as kind of a minion without any sort of battle machine, or piloting some of the smallest battle machines like the Sentry or the R1 Rammer. It seems very strange to me that the robots decided to have an Iron Drone pilot this battle machine. I think this was just honestly a mistake on LEGO's part. I think it would have made more sense to have it pilot the Arachnoid Stalker, or maybe just not have it in this wave at all, except for its inclusion in the Dark Panther, where the Dark Panther has the two off the sides. But really, a Devastator should be piloting this battle machine, and it makes no sense to me that they put an Iron Drone in there. Kind of just doesn't seem right, because canonically the Iron Drone is a not very intelligent type of robot and really wouldn't have the capability to learn how to fly something. So I don't know what was going on there, but that pretty much wraps up the set. I wish there was more to say about these sets and the storyline, but unfortunately there isn't a whole lot. So with that, I will see you guys next week when I go over, sadly, the final set in the Exo-Force storyline, the Hybrid Rescue Tank, which thankfully is actually a very nice one to finish off with. So, see you then. Bye! Right up here, this portion of the mobile defense tank, the turret right here, actually slides up